Hey, I'm Julian. I'm an agent with Jolly Holiday Travel Company. I have had some clients ask me about The Void. This is a virtual reality game that you can play in Disney Springs in Orlando. We have it in Toronto, so I went out today and tried the Star Wars version. There's Star Wars and Wreck-It Ralph. We did the Star Wars, so what you'll see next is the before and after video of my just in real-time experiences, and then stay till the end. I had a bunch of questions before I did this, and questions that came from clients too, so I'll go through all of my FAQs at the end. Hey everybody, it is Julian. It's a rainy day here in Toronto. I'm headed into The Void, so this you can do in Disney Springs. They have a Wreck-It Ralph version and a Star Wars version. It is a virtual reality thing. I haven't tried it in Disney, so here I am to do it in my neck of the woods. There's two places to do it in Ontario, in Toronto and in Mississauga, and we're gonna go in and do the Star Wars run right now and see how it goes. I'll be back and let you know what I think. Hey everybody, so I just did The Void. It was super cool. There's a couple of things that, as I have looked at videos on YouTube, I wonder about, so that's what I'm gonna share. So it is, you're in an actual physical space, so I won't spoil anything, but you walk through doors, things open, the temperature changes, and it's just you and the people that you're with, but you do have one physical item that you do pick up at one point. I'm a scaredy cat, you know, like Small World is my favorite ride. I have no shame. You know, I'll ride Big Thunder, but I just don't care. So I was super nervous and cowering behind. I went in with two of my brothers-in-law, and I was cowering for a time, but it was pretty cool. I would definitely do it again. Like I said, in Orlando, they also have Wreck-It Ralph, so I would definitely try that too. I think that one, the description is that you do like a food fight with candy, I think. They do have it here, but the way that it works in Toronto is that it goes every other day. So like today is the Star Wars day, and tomorrow is the Wreck-It Ralph day, they told me. They also do something called Nicodemus, which the guy who works here said is super scary, can be scary, and they do a Ghostbusters one. So all in all, I thought it was really cool. I don't know a lot about Star Wars. I've seen like some of the newer movies, but I don't know the original ones. My kid's name is Luke, but that's not why. So you still have a basic understanding of like what's going on inside, and you know, I was with like Star Wars fans, so they were telling me like who everybody was if there was questions that I had, but all in all, it was really cool. I would definitely do it again. I was nervous going in, but I was not scared inside. You do have a pack on your back, and you have something that comes over your face, but you a couple of times when you're about to walk forward, you know, it's normal ground like to your physical body, but what you're seeing, obviously you're in space, so you feel sometimes like you might fall or whatever. I cheated, I don't care. I mean, I would pick the mask up, you just pop it up, you know, I would look around like, am I really gonna fall, put it down. There was one time where I peeked because I asked the guy, are there physical people in there? You know, there's like staff members, but they're not like playing the game, and one of the characters looked so real. I was like, no, that's a person, because you can hear each other talking in your monitors. And I took my mask off and nobody was there. I mean, that's how cool it was. So I would definitely do it again. Okay, so I had, like I said, some questions about it. Motion sickness was one thing. I have vertigo and I was a little bit nervous about it. When you get there, there's a list of things to note, and motion sickness is one of the things. So the sign on the wall says, if you feel motion sickness, go ahead and reach out and touch something, touch the wall to steady yourself. I did not feel sick ever at all. I was completely fine. I did, sometimes just to get my bearing, like I said before, I would lift the mask up and peek a little bit. That may have made a difference, but I really don't think so, because sort of the start of the dizziness before I did it, I didn't feel that at all. There was just none of that there for me. So for me, it was okay. Another thing was my glasses. I'm nearsighted. I am not able, you know, I assumed I wouldn't be able to like see the game or anything far off. It fit over my glasses. So the entire setup was completely customizable to your shape and your needs. So that leads me into kind of my second question. I was nervous, you know, I went in with two of my brothers-in-law, tall, slender guys. So I'm nervous about, does it fit my frame, a female frame, because you have to wear a vest and things, and I just didn't know how that would fit a woman or me and my glasses. That was all a question. Everything was fine. You put a vest on, there's 4, this is at least in Toronto, there's 4 buckles, snaps. Once you get it on, there's straps you pull, and they tell you exactly, you know, grab the straps under your arms, pull down, the ones on your sides, pull backwards, and you fit it all totally. And then over my glasses, it was fine. So you just tighten it up. There's a strap that goes under your chin, and they told us, you know, if you don't have it tight enough, the game will be blurry. So there's a little test thing that you can see with the thing on like this. I just had him help me tighten it until it wasn't blurry anymore. And then I was fine, fit my glasses fine. So those worries, totally unfounded, you'll be fine. I do see in the FAQs things like hearing aids and other things like that. They say it all works the same, although there is a part like kind of earmuffs that goes across your face and then down over here, and you can hear your teammates. On the side over here, there's up and down buttons for volume. So what I experienced was my voice was muted to myself, but my brothers-in-law that I was playing with, both of their voices were loud and clear. That was my experience. So the party size, you can go in groups of 4. We had 6. So it was sister-in-law, 3 brothers-in-law, my husband, and me. So my group was 2 of those brothers-in-law and me. And then, you know, we split 3 and 3 was how it went. So for us, it worked fine that we weren't all able to go together. But if you have a group of 5, what they would do, and we were the only ones in line at that time, but what they say they would do is split you, you know, 3 and 2 if you were a group of 5, and slot someone else in with you, you know, sort of like a single rider line, you know, at Test Track or something in the parks. They would just give you one extra person if you were a group of 3. But for us, it worked just fine. And so the last thing that was on my mind was the time length. I never really saw anybody say how long it was. When we got there, we asked them, and they said 15 minutes. But the time, you know, the website and stuff says 30. They do a pre-show video, which I think is probably part of what they're considering the time. But inside the game, they said it was like 15 minutes. I really lost track of time, honestly, and I forgot to check when I got out. But Does it seem like it could have been 15 minutes? Yeah, I guess so. You know, I completely forgot. What they did have us do, so in Toronto, I don't know if it's the same way in Orlando. You're able to pre-purchase, like schedule a time. So we bought 6 tickets for 11 o'clock. We showed up. They split us in groups of 3, but group number 2 could start, I don't know what point, because I was in group 1, but group 2, I guess I wouldn't know if I was in group 2 where group 1 was anyway. But at some point, group 2 started before we finished. So it didn't take, you know, an hour and a half to wrap up. So that's something to consider too. If you have multiple groups, they may be able to start you while the other group is finishing, you know, in Orlando. I don't know exactly how that would work. So in general, I think it was $35 a person. Do I think it was worth it? I don't even know Star Wars super well, like I said, and I would totally do it again. It was amazing. The 2 guys that I was with in my family, in my group, are huge Star Wars fans, and when they knew the names of things and places, and they were like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" You know, you're gonna hear them in there. To somebody that loves it, they had a great time. I still had a ton of fun. My sister-in-law was out in the lobby with my son, and before group 2 started, they all said they could hear us in there yelling, and then she said the same thing. She could hear both groups, you know, shouting. At one point, something, I don't want to spoil it, but something sort of frightening happens, and she heard me yell, "I don't like this." You know, she could like hear the fun we were having in there. I loved it. I will totally go back and do Wreck-It Ralph without any hesitation. I would do Star Wars again. You know, is it something I would do every Disney trip? I mean, I guess I can't say that because I could do it at home, but it's not something I would do all the time. But if I was a family that was doing a once a year Disney trip, is it something I would do once a year? I could see that, you know, if the price is within your budget. You know, on one hand, you could think $35 for 15 minutes, or, you know, is not a great value, or you could think $35 for an experience I've never had before is a fun, special thing to do. I would fall in the latter side of that. I thought it was really cool, even not knowing every little detail of every person. I would totally do it again. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer just from my experience as best I can. I really think you're going to have a good time when you give it a try.